Well, this is a bit different than usual. This is Marhawkman does. Wait, I, I, I'm doing an Endeavor type thing? Video? What? Ooh. Yeah, I decided to do a little bit of analysis of just how much a single perk point does for your melee weapon damage on the ground. Which, yes, I have nearly maxed because stabby death is fun. Anyways, so before I actually spin the perk point, I am going to look at the listed damage for several weapons. So here we have a nano-pulse batleth from the Imperial Assault set. This says 263.8. Here we have a Shattering Harmonic Sword, 259.1. DPS, that is. Why am I looking at this? Well, obviously, I'm going to compare the numbers before and after. I wrote down a list of 5 bridge officers to also look at the weapons they have because, they have relevant things. Here I have a bridge officer who actually has a proper melee build. She uses the Furiodon Fangs, which lists at base damage is 144.2. It doesn't list DPS because one of the things with Furiodon Fangs is its self-buff increases the attack speed. So the DPS gets higher the more you stab things with it. Well, if you use the left strike attack, using the right strike attack slows you down but does massive damage. Anyway, next one is Kinaled. This is the Zephram Cochrane shotgun. In theory, it shouldn't benefit from melee damage stuff, but something in this game are actually coded to run on damage type, not whether it's ranged or melee. So the fact that this is physical damage, I don't know. Next up, Cola. This is the OG original nano-pulse batleth. A weapon that has never been re-released. Only people who got it the day of its release ever got one. There have been multiple different editions of nano-pulse batleth, but never the same as the original. Alright, so, the number on that was, of course, 280.8. which is slightly higher than the other one, but bear in mind, blue is apparently effectively a plus damage mod, and this is Mark 13, and the other nano-pulse batleth that Malati has is a Mark 12 with no plus damage mod. So this actually does make sense to have slightly higher DPS. Okay, that was Cola. Next we have Imra. Again, ranged weapon that in theory shouldn't benefit from anything that boosts melee damage. Damage on this lists 104.8 DPS. That is actually true because of the fact that this weapon actually has an AoE as the primary. Its raw damage to single targets really isn't very good because the primary is an AoE. And last we have Tony. Yet another classic weapon that is something you will see on very few players, not because it's actually all that hard to get, it's just because it's not actually all that good. Sai, honestly, the stun thing would be nice, except for the fact that it's only a 5% chance. But 13 psionic damage, not bad. Okay, note how this says 13.1. And the DPS on the primary attack is 211.2. We'll be comparing those numbers in a little bit. So, now that we have established the base values, let's spend the perk point. Boy. Yes. And now we go back and look at all of the numbers to see if any of them have changed. 213. Oh, that is interesting. The psionic damage did in fact go up by 0.2, but it did go up. Did not expect that to happen, but nice to know. I honestly kind of figured the psionic damage was more based on the mark of the weapon, because, upgrading it to Mark 15 does actually drastically increase the psionic damage it does. Granted, the psionic damage never becomes a large amount of damage, however, it is a meaningful number. Seeing it go up in this test, hey, that's definitely a thing to remember. And again, it's a very small buff for each in specific rank of endeavors, so wouldn't expect it to be a large increase. And, the other one only went up by 1.8. Alright, so, next up, Imra Thompson. Which is, let's see, 105 point... That actually did go up. Yeah. I recorded this as 104.8. It went up by 0.8 points. So, this did actually benefit from the endeavor point that I just spent. Huh. Odd. Okay, let's see about Cola. Okay, 282.9. This was 280.8, so this went up the amount that you would expect. 2.1 points. Okay, Kineled, except from Cochrane Shotgun, was 279.3. It is higher than that now. Yep, same thing with Imra. A physical ranged weapon benefiting from what should, in theory, be only a melee damage buff. Okay, Korspa. Well, 145.5, which is exactly as expected. Granted, it's only a 1.3 bonus, but this weapon's base damage is actually rather low. It's a speed attack weapon. Okay, let's see what these have. 285.8 when it used to be 263.8. Or is that a 6? I don't know. The font used in this game confuses me sometimes. Alright, let's see what this does. I think that's a 6. So 260.9. Which is more or less exactly what I would have expected. Went up by 1.8 points. So, yeah. It's not just actual melee weapons affected by that stat, apparently. Good to know. Oh yeah, there's this, but I didn't write down the numbers before, so I can't really do a comparison on it. Oh well. Oh yeah, but something worth remembering in the future. Also, honestly, the main reason I wanted to look at this was to see what the exact number was, and thought of the idea of testing the ranged physical weapons. Honestly, the ranged physical thing, because of the fact that that's happened several times in the past, I halfway expected it. Wasn't sure whether they'd change that or not, but apparently, yeah. Actually, that's an interesting question. What is the ranged energy actually phrased as in here? Yeah, it just says ranged weapon damage. Doesn't really... Because some things just specifically say ranged energy, or specify physical melee, and don't actually buff ranged physical or energy melee, when in theory they should. But Each specific power has its own set of rules, and buff, like the Endeavor passives. Alright, well, that's enough rambling, I suppose. The test has been concluded, and the results are weird. But hey, we have results. Alrighty then. Until next time.